Now, it's getting a little bit gross, not too gross, but this one's a little embarrassing for me. So body odor and sweat and body heat is one thing that I've really noticed, especially I think because I'm breastfeeding. All the hormones that are going through my body make your BO like intense. Like, I've never really been like a stinky person, but my BO is ridiculous, and it's just so that your baby can like recognize your smell, and it sort of gets like an animal instinct that your scent gets out there. But I also find my body temperature is so hot and I'm sweating heaps all the time. I'm always like dabbing my mo, like sweating under my underarms, like constantly, and it is a hormone thing, and it's estrogen and all that crap. When your milk comes in, everyone's going to tell you have these massive jugs, everyone's going to be like, your boobs are going to be huge. You don't realize how big and hard they are going to be, and how full of milk they're going to be. They're going to be so sensitive. The veins are going to be crazy, but it's going to be awesome because you're going to look like you have this big fake tits, and it's going to be great. What happens straight after when your milk comes in, like day 3, day 4, day 5, your baby's gonna like cluster feed and want to feed constantly just to try and get your milk in and get up your supply, and that's normal. It can be really frustrating. Your boobs are gonna be like achy, and they're gonna leak a lot, especially at night time when you're feeding them, but that's cool. They're gonna like adjust themselves. So for the next few days after you give birth, you're going to still be getting contractions, and your uterus is going to hurt. And I've actually heard that the more kids you have, the more that your uterus hurts after you have a baby. Now, if you're breastfeeding, you'll notice your uterus, because it actually helps your uterus contract faster. And you'll notice the pains, like every time you feed, it's like contractions again. It's cramping. It can get really quite painful, and if it gets too painful, there is like, they offer you pain meds in a hospital, and if you're at home from hospital, they offer you pain meds still that you can have that are safe when you're feeding. But it does hurt. It will get better. It takes about 12 days for your uterus to go from the size of a watermelon back down to the size of a pear, and that's obviously gonna hurt. Directly after you've had a baby, it depends what time I guess you've had a baby. Mine was delivered at, my very noisy baby was delivered at 2:17 a.m. So once everything's all, you know, cleaned up and everything, and you get wheeled off to the maternity ward, it was about 6 o'clock, and they go, oh, you know, try and get some sleep if you can, rest up. You just run a freaking marathon. You're giving birth to a child. Try and get some sleep. You can't. And I'm gonna just put that out there. I don't know if it's the adrenaline. I don't know if you just want to stare at your baby all the time. I don't know if you're just waiting for, I don't know what it is, but you can't sleep. And I didn't sleep for the 3 whole days I was in hospital. The first couple days I was home from hospital as well, still getting used to like the whole baby thing. So I didn't sleep for a very long time, like a week. And then when you do finally get to sleep, it is very short. I don't know if it's hormones, if it's adrenaline, if it's just you just want to stare at your baby because they're so goddamn cute all the time. But the sleep, half the time is going to be just because you can't get to sleep. And then when you finally drift off to sleep, your baby will wake up for a feed. It's just the way it is, and you do not sleep. And I've heard you don't sleep for the next 18 years, so I'm really looking forward to that. Speaking of not being able to sleep, he's meant to be napping, but as you could probably have heard, he does not want to nap, and it's making my life very difficult. So my next point is, after you've had a baby, you are the most fertile you will be. Very, very, very fertile. You've got to be careful. If you don't want to have a baby straight away, just like wrap it up or just steer clear of each other. Which actually that brings me on to my next point is, and now I'm just gonna warn everyone, it's gonna get a little gross from here on out. Your downstairs area is like a ruin, like ripped up. Like, I had stitches, lots of people I know had stitches. If you've had, even if you had a C-section, everything is still like, and you don't want anyone near there. Even washing yourself, you're like dreading going in the shower or in the bath because it hurts a lot. It is so tender. So you're not going to be wanting to get down and jiggy with it for a while afterwards, which is good, I think, because you are so fertile. So maybe that's nature's way of stopping you from doing it. You will think you're ready to get back in the saddle. You're not. I promise you. You will try and then you will regret it. Do not try. Wait the 6 weeks that they tell you to wait. I'm just giving you that word of warning. I don't know if this is any consolation, but it does get better, I promise. You think at the time, oh my god, I'm going to be in pain forever, I'm never going to be able to wash myself or touch myself ever again. You can, I promise you. After 6 weeks, it just gets better and better. I'm sorry, it's getting gross. Too gross for you? Too gross, too much information? Now, on the same sort of note as that, not only is your lady area a bit tender and gross, and also just want to quickly put in a side note, it does look fine after a while. It will get back to normal. It doesn't always look scary and bruised and sore. I promise it will look fine. The same area, you're going to be really scared to take a shit, and I guarantee I was in hospital for 3 days, and the 3 days, every day they would ask me, have you passed a motion, have you gone to the bathroom? And I was like, no, I was way too scared. And you sit on the toilet and you're like, this is gonna be horrible because the whole area is completely bruised. If you think you had this giant watermelon go through a little grape hole, of course it's gonna be all bruised and squished up. It's gonna be okay. Take it slow. Take laxatives if you need to. I don't really know, but it's not as bad as you think it's going to be, and I can promise you that. And everything will get back to normal. Just give it time. Don't rush yourself, and just take care of yourself. I'm gonna stay on this gross level for a little while. Baby poo, they poo more than you will expect them to poo. Like every hour, like twice an hour. There is so much poo and so much pee, and obviously I had a little boy and I'd never changed a boy's nappy before I had Noah, and they pee at you and they aim for you and they just pee out of nowhere. They've just peed and they pee at you, and then you're like, oh, this is great, you're halfway through changing the nappy, and they pee at you again and they poo at you. I had Noah on my lap, and we had to weigh him for his like 5-day checkup or whatever, and he pooed on me and he peed at me and then he pooed on me again, and it was all dripping down my leg. And you don't really care, to be perfectly honest. You were covered in pee, poo, vomit, and you really just don't care. As long as you can get some food in your tummy and have a shower at the end of the day, it's all good. Okay, this one came to me while I was editing, so I'm halfway through editing this video right now, and I thought of 2 more. So first one is people don't really talk to you and not really interested in you anymore. They only see you and speak to you for the baby. So like you'll go, this happens to me like every time I ever see anyone. So you go to your family's house, you meet a friend, or I don't know, you see someone out in public, whatever, and they'll go, oh hi Noah, oh hello Kitty, oh hi Imogen, oh no, back to the baby, and like you're sort of like a second thought. And I know like babies are really cute and you just want to like see them and speak to them all the time, but my suggestion, if you are know anyone with babies, newborns or anything, talk to the parents first and then speak to the baby. It's really appreciated because you know that people just want to like catch up with you or just see you for the baby. I, like, no fault of my mum's or my stepdad's or anything, but I went to my family dinner one Monday and left the baby at home with Derek, and I just went on my own. And I think my mum was like really offended that I didn't bring the baby, and she's like, oh, where's Noah? You know, it doesn't really like, oh, it's nice to spend some time with you. Like, obviously she's not, I don't mean offense to her, and she didn't say it, like, it wasn't offensive or anything, but it's just funny how, like, as soon as I turn up to family dinner, you know, my stepdad comes over, oh, Noah, hi, comes, gives him a hug and a kiss, and it's sort of like, oh, hi, Imogen. It's just funny, like, that's just what everyone is like. The second one that I thought of is one that really, really annoys me, and if you know me personally and speak to me regularly, please, please, please refrain from ever asking me this question ever again, because it really gets under my skin. They don't tell you that people are going to be really interested in your baby's sleeping patterns. They're going to go, oh, how did the baby sleep last night? How was he? Was he sleep good last night? What was last night like? How was his sleeping habits? Oh, how did last night go? Did you sleep all right last night? Why do you care? Like, I know you're being nice. I know it's trying to be nice, and I know you're interested, but it's really annoying, especially considering I only get like 4 hours sleep in the night total. I then don't want to be questioned on it. Yes, my baby doesn't sleep through the night.
he is a little baby. He doesn't need to sleep through the night. He's breastfed, which is probably part of the reason, but it is actually really healthy for them to wake up. If someone has been woken up every 2 hours in the night, they don't want to be then asked the next day, oh, how did the baby sleep? Like, why don't you just ask me how I slept? How did you go last night? How are you feeling? I don't know. I know it's probably really stupid, and it's like probably kind of nasty of me, because I know people are just trying to be like nice and helpful, and they're genuinely like concerned with how he's sleeping. But it really, really annoys me when people ask me, how did the baby sleep? And people will ask you like questions like that, and you're just like, kind of none of your business. It's kind of like a personal thing. I don't know, there's just loads of like real personal questions that people don't really ask you, and you'll find that all throughout your pregnancy, and it doesn't stop when the baby's born. I find people, and I honestly, I'm not someone that is easily offended. I actually loved it when people came up and rubbed my belly when I was pregnant. I loved that, and because I love touching pregnant bellies, and you love feeling it, and I was always like, oh, feel this. If the baby was kicking, I would always grab someone's hand and get them to like touch the belly. I loved it. But it is so funny how people just think automatically because you're pregnant it's okay to come up and touch your belly, or, you know, ask you about your boobs, or ask you like all sorts of like random questions people think it's okay to ask just because you're pregnant, or they think it's okay to touch you or touch your baby. Like, I don't care if people pick him up or put his pictures on Facebook. Like, I'm not one of those types of mums. I love it. I share him so much, obviously. But I do think it's funny how people just think they can ask you anything, or how they can just like touch him or do whatever they want just because you have a baby. Like I said, I'm a complete open book, and I'm not easily offended by things like that. But I just think it's funny, like, prepare yourself, because people will just automatically assume that they're allowed to know everything about you and your life.